Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Philip. This is the Ranger's Respite, and today is Friday. Another whiskey review, whiskey library review. Today we're looking at Jim Beam Rye. I have a funny thing to talk about Jim Beam Rye. Mainly, it's it's sitting here and realizing how many Beam products I have. So, I of course have the white label in the classic square bottle. Yeah, I'm just putting them away because it was all the way in the back. I have Jim Beam Repeal Badge, which I believe was a limited edition, non-chill filtered, 43% version of the white label. So not really anything all that special, but definitely interesting. I have the Distiller's Cut, a limited edition, 50% alcohol by volume. It's not bottled in bond, but it may as well be. And if that ever comes up, I'll do a review of it. Because it falls into the category of weirdly being one of my favorite releases. Jim Beam Devil's Cut, one of my least favorite Jim Beam releases. Jim Beam Black Label. This is from that period of time between the 8-year age statement and the 7-year age statement, where it carried no age statement at all and just said extra aged. Which is one of those fun facts about Jim Beam is that used to be an age-stated whiskey, and then it wasn't, and then it was again. Jim Beam Single Barrel. I promise, I'm almost done. Jim Beam Double Oak, another one that I think is genuinely an exceptional release for the money. I'm just gonna put that in there. And Jim Beam Winter Reserve. I somehow missed out on the Summer Blend. I didn't realize it had been released, but I really want to get a bottle of that somewhere, somehow. I know it's weird. Believe me, I know. What I'm sort of demonstrating is the fact that I actually have an affinity for the Beam profile. Those are just the bottles that say Jim Beam on them. I also have Old Tub, Old Granddad Bottled and Bond, 114, Basil Hayden's, Baker's, Booker's. There are so many Beam products. And this is an interesting standout because this is, oh, and I have a bunch of Knob Creeks. This is one of the few rye offerings. And it's an interesting pick. So it says on the label pre-prohibition style, which is interesting. On the nose, it is not too hot, 45%, 90 proof. It is a straight rye whiskey, no age statement, so you know that straight means it's 2 years. No age statement and straight means that it's more than 4 years. It's got a little bit of like a mentally mint-ish, but not really mint nose. Maybe eucalyptus. A little bit of like fennel, star anise, uh, caraway seed-ish, but not quite potent enough to really spike my interest. And a weirdly strong corn note. A lot of people say that corn has no flavor. I disagree. I think it has a very distinct effect on a whiskey, particularly one that is primarily a different grain core, like rye or wheat. It's got that Beam nuttiness in there too, which makes for an interesting combo. Now, here is where it gets weird. I have a confession to make. I had somebody help me with a blind tasting because they said something along the lines of bourbon and rye taste close enough to the same that they don't think that there's a whole lot of difference. I disagreed, and I said that I'd prove it. I had them pour 2 bourbons and 2 ryes from my selection. One of the ryes that they poured was this one. I will say right off the bat that they poured a Catoctin Creek rye, which is their mistake because I know Catoctin Creek inside and out. It is one of my favorite distilleries, probably my favorite distillery, full stop. I believe that they make some of the best rye in the world, if not the best. They poured Evan Williams Bottle and Bond. They poured this. And they poured Jim Beam Black. And I took 10 minutes going back and forth between this and the Jim Beam Black. And it's like, well, they're both Beam products. They both have that classic Beam note. And I was sat there going, I'm pretty sure this is Jim Beam Black label. 9% sure this is the Jim Beam Black label. Got no idea what this is. High rye. What's Jim Beam and high rye? I can't figure it out. What the hell could this be? It never connected in my brain. That it's so obvious that this person did not pull a fast one like I was kind of suspecting that they had. They had indeed poured 2 ryes, 2 bourbons. And I sat there going, well, I know that this is Jim Beam Black because that's what it smells like and tastes like with the other glass. And I held this one up and I said, I think you pulled a fast one. I think that this might be Old Granddad. And I went, oh? And I said, yeah. It smells too corny to be a rye. It smells like a Beam product. Yeah, I think that you pulled a fast one. I think that you poured me a glass of a high rye bourbon, thinking that you'd catch me out. And then they were like, it's Jim Beam rye. What? No. It was embarrassing. But every time I pour myself some of this, every time I think to myself, this is barely a rye. It's got that high rye characteristics. Doesn't have enough spice. Doesn't have like the punch that rye has. It really does 100%. To me, tastes more like a high rye bourbon than a rye whiskey. On the palate, you get a little bit of like aniseed fennel, a little bit of like an herbally note, a little bit of mentholiness, but the dominant notes are caramel, peanut brittle, vanilla, and corn dustiness. I felt so dumb. I still feel dumb thinking about it. Like, how the hell did I get that wrong? And for the record, they were genuinely impressed that I named both the Catoctin Creek and the Jim Beam Black. My guess on the Evan Williams is way off. I forget what I guessed it was, but I was way off. The finish, almost non-existent. non-existent. There's like a little pop of menthol on the finish, and then that like caramel, vanilla, and a little bit of peanut note, and then nothing. It's short, sweet-ish. I will say that it is easy drinking. Very easy drinking. And though I've consumed that much of it, and that may not seem like a lot to a lot of you, but I drink slowly. I'm going to have to get another bottle of this. So I've got a project in the works that's going to potentially require pouring a bunch of Jim Beam rye. Anyway, I always ask and answer 3 questions. First one, do I like it? It's all right. I will say that it is easy drinking. It's no thoughts. Sit down and enjoy dram, but doesn't really speak to me. As a rye fan, it doesn't really jump at me. Do I think it's a good value? There are things that are better for a little bit more, and some things that may be better at a similar price point, but that's okay. It's what, $30 a bottle? Probably a little bit more now, but about $30 a bottle. That's not bad. Do I recommend it? No. As a fan of Beam, as someone who owns that much Jim Beam plus a handful of Knob Creeks, it feels weird to say that, I really don't recommend it. If you're looking for a good rye, if you are looking for a good rye and you want to stick with the Beam family of brands, the Suntory Global family of brands, Old Overholt Bonded is a similar price point. It's 100 proof. It's a Monongahela style straight rye whiskey. I think it is a better rye whiskey for the money. It's my recommendation. But if you are a bourbon drinker and you're wanting to sort of dip your toe into rye, but you're afraid of that like big herbal note, and you're not sure if you're going to like it, yeah, why not? It's a good introduction from a bourbon direction. With all that out of the way, let me, before I forget, like I did just moments ago, yeah, because I'm recording these back to back. Just moments ago, like I forgot, I'm not going to forget again. I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to spin the wheel again. I'm going to hide the choice so that we don't accidentally spin it up again. Let's see what we are reviewing on Wednesday. Ooh, that's good stuff. I'm not sure where I put this bottle. I think it's way up above me. It is. It's way up there. I'll get it down in a minute. I'm excited for that on Wednesday. On Monday, I'm going to have a video dropping, and y'all are going to have to. I really hope that you enjoy it as much as y'all enjoyed my video aimed at Virginia ABC. 2 merch things. 1, if you want to support my show, you want a physical item in return, I'm selling these on Etsy. $25 buys you a ballpoint twist pen turned from a piece of a French oak barrel stave that held cognac for 45 years before being used to finish a peated American single malt whiskey from the Pacific Northwest. I can't tell you exactly where it's from because the master distiller couldn't get her marketing team to sign off on it. But if you know, you know. 2, there's going to be a link down below. And there will also be a community post today or yesterday, depending. There will be a link to a new either Spreadshirt or TeePublic or something. Again, recording these back to back, I don't have it set up yet, where you can buy a t-shirt or a sticker with a design on it that I made myself for the purposes of selling merch to fund the show. I'd really appreciate it if you guys wanted to support the show. If you purchase some of those, I can use those funds to continue the show, especially since I've got a big project coming up. One of the big projects that I've got coming up, you can at least partially fund, almost completely fund, through the sale of 3 of these pens, and I can buy some equipment that I need for that. With all that out of the way, if you enjoyed this video, like, subscribe, share with your friends who are maybe looking at dipping their toes into the world of rye whiskey. Let me know what you think of Jim Beam Rye in the description, in the comments down below. And until next time, stay happy, stay geeks, sláinte.